All right. What's up, everybody, and welcome back. We got ourselves a big best of 5. Talons, Dark, in the top right side, up against BYUN from Shopify Rebellion. BYUN going for a blind command center first, saying, let's be greedy on the big boy greedy map. Unfortunately for him, Dark has gone hatchery first on the gold, and that's a purple gas as well. If he lets Dark get away with this, BYUN is so far behind. And to be fair, it's going to be a long time till factory Hellions hit. And there's already a Roach on the way, so Dark is actually going to use this to be aggressive. Because this counts as 2 gases. So he can do like an 8 Roach push to keep BYUN penned in his base, kill a bunch of SCVs, drone up, take a 3rd and 4th base behind it, and then just play a macro game. This is a brilliant opening for Dark and something BYUN is going to struggle with. This is going to be really tough, man. Overlord's going to pull back to the pillar. I think it'll barely survive. Marines don't do that much damage. Not a single non-stem Marine. Yeah, good 30 life or so. Not too bad. Dark's already building 2 Roaches. Make it 3, make it 4. Extra Overlords on the way as well. He does take a 3rd gas, which tells us he's planning to go all in with Mass Ravager. Interestingly, BYUN is already going Cyclones, which is decent. Problem is Ravagers actually do kind of okay versus Cyclones. So the early, if he builds like 6 Cyclones, I think he can defend. If he only builds 2 or 4, BYUN could still end up in a lot of trouble because he's gone 3 commands and he has no idea what he's up against right now. And this is going to be really tough to deal with. Double inject going down. 3rd Queen's going to come out. He will be able to spread creep and take a 3rd base behind. As you can see, Dark is prepared for the long game. Sees these first 2. Oh, he does lose 1 Roach already. Oh, good micro by BYUN. Oh, but BYUN doesn't quite get that Ravager. That's unfortunate. He should be getting out of here. Oh, nice lock on. Yeah, bad micro for Dark, letting that Ravager go forward. And that one as well. Great start. Great start. So he's built 2 Hellions, but now he's gone back to heavy Cyclone production. He's quickly like, mass repair, quick. And Dark is pulling back, building 12 workers, building a 3rd base. Great defense for BYUN. It's actually working out really well for BYUN. I thought BYUN was going to build 2 Hellions, and if he did, this would be a much harder situation. But because he opened up like this, it's actually fantastic. Would Dark's opening lose to literally any proxy build? Yeah, I mean, Proxy Reaper would be a nightmare. Of course, if he realizes what's happening at some point, he could just not use the hatchery, try to take a normal expansion, but it's definitely a massive risk. I mean, Dark is a gambler, man. He likes to do those risky builds, but look at that. Gets himself a Hellion kill, which is great. He's got some creep coming forwards. Just trying to defend out front of his base. And he's going to take that 4th base that I talked about. Now, you might be wondering, why a 4th base so early? It's because your income off this gold minerals shoots up very quickly. Even though your work account's not that high, you really need to scale that upwards. Now, it looks like Mech 3 Factory Hurricane Thrusters on the way. Cool to see BYUN playing a Mech on a big boy map. You got to click that to land, my buddy. My man. What are we doing? There we go. Double Evo chamber in the main base. And those 3 gases giving Dark an insane amount of gas. 3 gases really is wild, guys. The choice to take this 3rd gas I find crazy. I thought once he did that, he would basically commit to like 10 Ravages. Nothing else. And maybe he was planning it, but after losing the first few, he changed his mind, I guess. Infestation bits on the way, 1-1 range and carapace upgrades. He's got an Overseer coming in now, but he's going to see 3 Factory and realize, oh me, oh my, I need a lot more Roaches and Ravagers. Especially with no link speed, he needs every single Roach to be a Ravager, otherwise he can't really handle the Cyclones. Changeling and Overseer both get taken out. Dark needs to be so careful. He needs to run. He needs to run away right now. He can't stand and fight. That's so many Cyclones. Yeah, he's standing his ground for now, trying to act like he's willing to fight. 4 more Roaches coming in. He's supply blocked. Very bad time to be supply blocked. Link speed is on the way. Burrow. 3 Overlords trying to build. BYUN is only on 3 command centers. He's going to go 2 more factories up to 5 factory. Cyclone's doing a pretty good job of just locking on, but the Hellions are gone. Hey, another Cyclone does go down. Good micro by Dark so far. Roach speed is almost finished. It's not there just yet. Hurricane Thrusters is, of course, there for BYUN. And BYUN microing in and out very nicely. That Queen goes down so quickly. Drone's going down as well. Oh, the lock-ons are so fast, but there we go. Dark runs forward, takes out 1, 2, 3, 4 Cyclones should be going down. Makes it 5 Cyclones. 6 Cyclones fall, but so does a lot of Roach Ravager. You can see in the units lost tab, the overall trading has been fantastic for BYUN so far. Even though the Roach... Oh my god, he's got a tank! He's got a tank! BYUN the Mad Lad is rallying a tank forward. What an amazing early tank. Just 1 or 2 tanks can add so much ranged firepower to this army. Cyclones could even run left if they want and through the gold minerals just to be as irritating as possible. I think BYUN might consider doing that just to force Dark to fight him. Double Armory goes down at 4th Command Center on the gold. BYUN still needs to get more damage done if he loses his whole army, say. But right now, Dark has gone Infestor a bit too early. He does pop up and gets a decent fungal. Cyclones do get caught by that. And actually, that was a pretty beautiful engagement for Dark. Does he have the numbers to make a full break? Well, he's cleared the tanks, burrows a few of these roaches that are damaged as well. He's going to unburrow and try to fight, but the lock-ons are fantastic. 78 workers to 51. Dark is down in the dumps. He's in a very bad place. Does have the double upgrade advantage, of course, which helps a lot against these Cyclones. Remember that their attack, even their lock-on, is affected by armor these days. Oh, nice move there for Dark. Takes out 2 of those Cyclones. Wouldn't mind him burrowing all those Roaches to let them heal up again. Remember, Zerg Roaches do have enhanced regeneration. Ah, I did that in Vision. Bit of a mistake there for Dark. Would have been nice as an ambush behind the Cyclones after they ran past, but spotted on his way forwards. Does get dealt with. Roaches coming in from the flank, though. BYUN, his tank's caught out in the open. 2 tanks go down. The other tank will get a few shots off, but looks like it's time for BYUN to give up map control. He has a giant worker advantage. He needs to worry about not dying. Dark, on the other hand, is going for a Nidus Worm. Dark is like, am I actually losing against BYUN's mech? BYUN's not even a good mech player. What the hell, man? And I mean, fair enough. I can understand you being a little frustrated by that, but I still think it's a bit of a gamble going, okay, Swarm Host Nidus off just 60 workers. Well, I mean, you need a lot of army and units to get back in a game. He can add the workers later, I guess. Definitely a tough ask, though. Tunneling Claws is on the way. Roach is trying to run down the south. If these Cyclones catch the first Nidus Worm, that'd be great. And those Roaches do all go down. Hive starts up in the main base. +1 melee, +2 range. Nidus Worm will be on the north. Oh, I like that. Uses the Watchtower to put that very close to the 3rd base. 7 tanks and 15 Cyclones. Hasn't been a lot of Zergling threat this game, so BYUN is not too worried about that. He's building 5 more command centers right now, as well as going up to 8 factories. But now he's got to deal with Dark's aggression. Dark has an army supply advantage. It's Roach Swarm Host, so not the most efficient supply. Locusts coming in, Roaches on the south. Cyclones more than enough for the Roaches, but got to watch out for those Locusts. Top left side, a tank goes down. Good hold position on those Locusts. You can see they kill a good 10-15 SCVs very quickly. 11 workers, the final count. Roaches run in behind the 4th as well. Burrowing these Roaches around, being as much of a nuisance as he possibly can. It's funny because he's running Zerglings in. It's kind of giving away that his Roaches are moving here. Dark, sloppy control groups costing him a little bit. Spire and Hive are on the way. Dark's thinking about a Broodlord transition, but he's going to need more workers if he wants to do that. He does have double Evo. He's got +3 range, +2 melee on the way, and a Baneling Nest. Baneling's very good for clearing out Hellbats and Cyclones, but they are a cost-inefficient unit. You need a big economy to play a Baneling style. Dark is down 20 workers, and he has been for a long time. Oh, did they not host this on... We don't have graphs. Okay, interesting. They must have hosted this on a weird interface. Zerglings do pull back on that right side. Swarm hosts in the Nidus Worm there. Roaches behind the 5th base. BYUN's trying to take control of the middle, but it's only with a very small army. I think Dark's assuming there's more units there, even though they're not. They're actually spread way further back, but BYUN's a Cavalier player. His mech positioning is very aggressive. Double Armory 1-1's finished. He needs to go 2-2. BYUN has forgotten about that upgrade, and of course, Dark's upgrades are getting kind of out of control. A couple Cyclones go down to the Zerglings. These Cyclones should be able to get rid of that Nidus Worm pretty quickly. Cyclones with their mobility, very good against Swarm Hosts. And, oh, does come forward with this other group of Cyclones. Not really bothering with Hellions at all. A few tanks in the middle get caught by the Locust, but the Cyclones will clear up the Nidus Worm. As you can see that BYUN has still been cost efficient. His 2-2's now started. His 8 factory setup, by the way. You can see there's 2 reactors and 5 tech labs. He's missing a reactor on that 8th factory. Not a big deal. Baneling speed, +1 range, adrenal glands. Dark doesn't have a huge comeback play. I mean, the Greatest Buy is ready, so I guess Broodlords can help a little bit. Swarmos can definitely find you efficiency in the long term. Zerglings jumping on top with these Roaches, trying to trade. Zerglings are very cheap units. But as those tanks in the back siege up, they do massive damage. These Cyclones dive as well. Ooh, BYUN finding the damage right now. Picking off Queens, Overlords. Nice scan. He can pick off quite a few of these drones as well. Oh, so many workers going down. 16 workers. Tanks in the middle are going to just fight the Locusts. I don't know about this one. This seems a little sloppy from BYUN, but I think he just senses he has an advantage and he's like, screw it, let's go. The Broodlords are here though. And those Broodlords are just in the nick of time. He's already down to just 55 workers. He even lost the top attempt to mine there. Roachling comes in on the third. 14 SCVs do go down, but BYUN's still on 70 workers. Lings chasing down the siege tanks. Wow. That's a cool move for Dark, capturing so many siege tanks. And remember, guys, BYUN is not a mech player. Oh, no. BYUN was so far ahead in this game, and now Dark's completely back in it. Look at the units lost tab. 4,000 resource lost advantage. The Broodlord's catching him off guard. He's building Thors, Cyclones, and Starports. Problem is, you've lost all your tanks, so now the Roach Ravager Ling and the Swarm hosts on the ground are actually probably going to be picking off your Thors in low numbers without much tank Hellion support. What an awkward spot to be in, especially if he had a few Vikings. It'd be so huge, but he doesn't even have Starport production. He's just got his Starports going in the back of the base, building 2 Vikings at a time. Swarmos up front, Ravagers, Lings, and Broodlords. Dark is never out until the fat Terran sings, and in this case, BYUN is a very skinny Terran who does not like singing. Thor's coming forward, trying to fight this with the tanks, the Cyclones, the Hellions, the Ravagers are there as well. Thors will smash Broodlords in a head-to-head fight. The Locusts are all gone for at least the next 15-20 seconds. But these Broodlords sieging from afar. BYUN struggling to get in range of that base. Another 19 workers go down. He had a giant bank, but it's all gone now. BYUN needs to find an efficient fight. Those Ravagers want to spread Biles on his Thors. Great Biles. Look at that. One of the Thors goes down. And the Thors are not in range to properly defend. Luckily, the Vikings come forward finally. BYUN will hang on, but he's taken so much damage. Cyclones are going to run forward as well. One of the Cyclones does get shot down. But, of course, the Cyclones and the Thors. One of the Thors in splash damage mode, not so effective. Units lost tab is 5,000 resources in favor of Dark. And he even got the planetary on the gold. You're kidding me. I did not realize he got that base as well. 40 worker kills. BYUN's going to try to rebuild here and gather up his forces. That Dark has once again just punched his way out of the grave. I said it was a bit of a crazy move with his tanks moving through the middle for BYUN. I would have liked to see more of a Maru style where he just adds ghosts, mixes a couple Thors in, and slowly ekes out the victory. But BYUN, as a player with less mech experience, comes out with a really tight early game build order and a less refined mid game onwards, where Dark is showing his experience. He's using his Swarmos to be as annoying as possible, trying to use Nidus Worms to help support those as well. Gets a Cyclone and a Hellion with this wave. And another Cyclone. I mean, it's free damage, so why not? Oh, it's an undefended orbital in the south. The Ravagers run in. Biles mostly being dodged by the Thors, but the Lings are doing very well against the Cyclones, just tanking so much damage. And they've got 2-1 upgrades, 3-1 on the Ravagers. Biles taking out yet another Thor. It's awkward dodging. You can dodge Biles with Thors, but it means they spend a lot of time not attacking. So all 8 factories and 2 starports are available, but it's money that's the problem for BYUN. Luckily, he has 8 orbitals, so he can drop mules like crazy, but can he actually get up a planetary fortress is a big question. Uh-oh. He's going to try and shoot down some of these locusts. It's going to be a dead Thor, I think. Oh, man. Thor's trying to pull away from this. Loses a few Cyclones and a Thor. Another orbital in the south gets caught out. Dark is all over it. He just looks so confident. The tanks in the south get ransacked. And Zerglings are such a big problem for him in this game. Oh, man. Once he had his position broken, BYUN has really struggled. The Zergling Ravager Swarm Host finding insane efficiency. Look at that. Oh, my God. That was cinematic. Oh, man. The Trail of SCV sadness there. It's cool to see BYUN mixing it up, especially on a map which I think Zerg is quite favored on. But at the end of the day, we can obviously see that Dark is just so much more experienced in this situation. Openings went really well for BYUN as well. But how the game opens and how it finishes are two completely different things. Dark has always had an ability to just take so many punches on the chin and fight back from behind. You know, Iron Chin Dark is a mythical StarCraft player, the man that just will not go down. And he always finds a way to get back in it. It's so exciting to watch because of that factor. GG, BYUN has to tap out. Dark takes game one. All right, guys. Dark with a sick comeback in game one. Now going into game two on Oceanborn. Classic Dark falling behind on his map, making a ridiculous comeback. The Swarm Hosts got some nice value. The Ravager usage, the Locust coming in with those Swarm Hosts to land at the right times. It's a very dark game. Looks like he's going to go gasless 3 hatchery on the Terran favored map. Try and get away with that Omega Greed. He's been spamming this build lately. So 3rd hatchery goes down. Now, I believe with this build, you'd probably want to build the Queen on the natural first because you want more drones popping out here. Lava injects creep here. But we'll see. Dark is the kind of guy who probably just clicks the button and guesses which hatchery will build it. No, he does manually do it. Very nice. And then he builds 4 Zerglings, and then I guess he builds the Queen in the main, and then an Overlord, I would imagine. 150 minerals, that's as much as you need for a Queen. Nicely done. Good build order. Remember about 3 minutes 30, 3:20 sometimes, is when you'll get a Roach Warren and start taking a bunch of gases. But the idea is to have an insane work account from the early game. Oh, Reaper picking off some Zerglings. Let's go. Nice start for BYUN. Gets himself 1. Queen is also going to pop out to defend this base. That's the other reason why you need to start the Queen here. Okay, only gets himself 1 Zergling. 3rd command center starts. Dark sees it beginning. And of course, BYUN doesn't know about it because the Overlord has much longer vision than those units. But BYUN will find out now as the Marine comes over and says, "Oi! Stop perving on my SCV! This is a restricted work site, you dirty bastard." Nice. Reaper's going to go into the main base. BYUN here just looking for more information, but does get deflected. Seeing this quick 3rd base, he should know exactly what he's up against anyway. Non-stop drones. Interestingly, Dark took double gas in his main super early, which tells us Dark's either planning an all-in while trying to pretend it's just the normal gasless build, or he just forgot the timings and is doing his build weird because he's Dark. He hasn't put on gas yet. A little slow to do that. 3:30. I think it's just a weird, slightly earlier gas timing. Yeah. He just goes Roach Warren 3rd gas. Nothing too special. Vikings on the way. First few Hellions are arriving. I think it's almost always worth diving with your first few Hellions against this build. And BYUN's going to do it. Reaper on the left, Hellions on the right. There's only 3 drones in the open, though. Takes him a while before he starts actually picking off those drones. And 2 drones for Hellion. Not the worst trade. Not the greatest, as we see tires of that Hellion. Whee! Floating up to the top of the ocean. Is the Viking getting many kills? No kills yet. Wait. Did Dark bring his Overlord all the way home? Oh, there it is. He hit it in the back of the main. So the Viking finds the Overlord. Nicely done there. And Dark just pulling the rest of his Overlords back in a very tight defensive pattern where the Queens can cover them. 8 Roaches and Ling Speed are on the way. So no, it is actually an all-in. Okay, it's a Ravager Ling all-in. Because normally this build just goes into super greedy 3 hatchery, drones, 3 base mass roach run, 1 push around 8 minutes. This is going to hit at like 5.5 minutes, so it's a much earlier push. Oh, roaches do get spotted, as do some Zerglings. BYUN's going to see what's happening, but it might be a bit too many units that he's throwing away right now because he's got so little at home. He starts a tank in a bunker. At least he's getting information and some drone kills. So he's getting some decent damages. BYUN. 6 drones ain't half bad, man. Okay, I like that. He kind of feints right, then goes back left, but the Queens are well positioned. And Dark will shut this down. Bunker's trying to go up in the wall. Oh no, he needs a bunker on the high ground, man. Dude, this is a massive push. Bunker on the natural is not the play. Oh, I don't think BYUN realizes how all in Dark is. That tank cannot go to the low ground. He needs to siege it right on the high ground, man. Oh my, he's gonna siege it there? Oh no. Luckily the mass repair saves from some of the biles, but nah, 4 ravages is more than enough, and BYUN blindsided, and Dark punches him right in the fanny. Alright, alright, alright. Dark is on fire right now. He's in the bottom side of Alcyon, BYUN in the top. BYUN just did not realize what was happening there, and understandably so. But that's very clever play out of Dark. Dark's like, hey man, people see this 3 hatch. They know I'm playing really greedy until 3 base. What if I take my gases a bit early and I do a Ling Flood with some Roach Ravager? It's a scary all-in. And most importantly, it's a surprising all-in. I've always said Dark's one of the best players at understanding where his opponent's focus is in the game, where their mindset's at. He's very good at disguising what he's doing and tricking his opponents. And he did that to BYUN there. He's now up 2-0, despite BYUN having such a nice build in game 1. And unfortunate for BYUN, but we'll see if he can start to bring it back. I would expect under pressure in this sort of scenario, normally BYUN to do a very aggressive 2-base push. Maybe try and get your tanks down here and stuff, deny him from overclearing those minerals. Siege from the low ground, something like that. I don't know if there's enough tank positions on this map to really keep doing it, though. I guess you can do the same from up here. Tanks behind there is also really nice. But I mean, Dark will probably just play Roach Ravager to make sure that can't work. And look at this! He's scouting for proxy barracks. And then he's just going to go quick 3rd hatchery, gasless again. Because his name is Dark and he's a crazy person. BYUN doing a standard expand, but it's actually a Marine first, not a Reaper first. All right, we've got drones coming out. So he's just going to do the very standard build so far. Queen on the natural, 4 Zerglings, Queen in the main with his next 150 minerals, and then an Overlord. Seeing that there's no Reaper, his Lings can go across the map and potentially find some damage. What I like about BYUN's opening is because he skips the Reaper, his Factory and Reactor are actually much earlier than they otherwise would be. So he's going to get his Hellions across the map way faster. Well, maybe not way faster, but 15 seconds faster is a big deal in a game of StarCraft. You're going to see he's going to be able to swap this very quickly. And he's going to look to dive and kill a lot of Dark's drones. When I play this build, I just lose to Reaper Hellion pressure. If I'm better than my opponent, I can make it work. But if I'm not better than them, I almost always just fall behind off this opening. And that's kind of, something which, well, that works for average Joes, doesn't work for pros. Apparently it does with Dark. Dark is just better than pretty much everyone he plays at StarCraft, which is why he just kind of does weird stuff, messes the game up and makes it work. Overlord was thinking about coming back, forces BYUN's barracks back there. Does it get to the pillar in time? Dude, Dark is a foul genius. The barracks has to come back again. He tries to even run to the right. Oh my god. So the barracks is not able to build things this whole time, which is not the end of the world, but it's just frustrating, man. 2 Hellions out. He's going to go for the 4 Hellion dive at about 345. It's a very good build. 4 Hellions darting across. Roach Warren in the wall. If he walls off with 3 Queens and pulls the drones back from his 3rd, Dark's in a great spot. Oh, he's walling. He's walling with his Queens. Very smart. He will lose the drones on the 3rd. Oh, he's pulling them back. Because he's like, hey, you went Marine first. You have an earlier factory. Cool, you're looking to do a Hellion run by. No worries. I just don't get to drone on my 3rd this game. But that's okay, as long as I block what you're doing. Oh my god, Dark! He moved out of position at the last second. Oh, it's a bit of a doo-doo for Dark. Only 2 drones going down so far. But there's no Queen in the main. No Queen in the main is really bad for Dark. Luckily for him, he pulls all the drones away very quickly, so he's only lost 3. Oh, an extra Hellion tries to drive in. Hellions in the main, still rotating around, trying to find another volley or 2, but there's no longer 3 Hellions, which means they can't one-shot drones. Dark's micro, exceptional so far in this game. There's a lot of less mining time. Ooh. Okay, Hellion's going to rotate down. Okay, 3 drones go down. Oh, can he get a few more? Make it 5. Hellion's in the natural as well. Oh, he's going to get a few down here. Oh, the regen, barely keeping some of those drones alive. 7 workers go down. There's a lot of mining time, a lot of disruption. How well did BYUN macro behind this? Not perfectly. He was floating about 400 minerals, still is. But I think overall, with the mining time and the and the actual kills, That's pretty worth it. He comes in now. His cloak's done. Gonna cloak, but he has to stay away from the spore crawlers. Spore crawler in the main is not quite finished. Sees it finish now. And he's like, okay, I gotta stay here in the middle. So he's just gonna hold position in the middle area, I think. Maybe go to the third. Does find a few more drones. This is that chaos I was talking about. Queens are not mobile units. You don't have link speed. You don't really have anything to defend. It's very awkward. Banshee's just gonna be a nuisance. See if it can grab some main-arding drones or something like that. Don't know where the second Banshee went, by the way. Looks like it's just chilling at home. Of course, Dark is known for his counterattacks, so fair enough. Third command center is building. He does have to do a supply drop here, does BYUN. And at the end of all that, BYUN has gone 3 barracks before third command center, so he does want to do some marine tank kind of tempo play. But it doesn't feel like he really has his build lining up that nicely, right? His medevacs are still a whiles away. Dark should be able to get to 66 workers and then just make 1-1 roaches. And I think he's simply going to be maybe not miles ahead, but I do think... well, let's see. Let's see. I was going to say that I think Dark will be a bit ahead after all this, even with all the chaos going down, but Overlord goes down there, 2 drones go down there. Pretty good usage. And interestingly, BYUN's already breaking those rocks. I think he wants to put a marine here so he can potentially stop those minerals getting mined out. 2 more drones go down. Nicely done. Has to evacuate with that Banshee before she takes too much damage. And Dark's going to take a 4th base on the left. Over in the main base, Overseer Scout sees that it is indeed a bunch of extra barracks. A 3rd command center coming down now. A kind of later 3rd command center. As you would expect with how aggressive BYUN has been this game. By the way, guys, is that throbbing? Oh, I thought it was a Zerg thing, but it's just some... It's like a bloody tarp blowing in the wind on top of those crates. Fair enough. I was like, I see odd movement on the terrain on this map. What's going on there? Well, that's just the graphics bugging out, isn't it? Looks great, looks great. And you like come in on certain angles and it just bugs out. Overlord taking some damage. Marine's going to try to focus down the roaches. That's a brave move. Dark should... Well, you know what? No combat shields for the Marines, but no armor for the roaches either yet. Oh, interesting fight here. Good micro on both sides, but I think BYUN, man, with his firepower actually is winning out. Kills about 8 roaches there, I think, for about 8 Marines. If you're trading a Marine for a roach, it's 2-to-1 cost efficiency. Look at that units lost tab. 12 Marines for 10 roaches have gone down this game. Yeah, that's great trading. Units lost tab, as you can see, 1,000 resources difference. Hive and Hydroden going down. So it's going to be a Lurker transition for Dark. Roach, Lurker, not a bad style. There's a few tanks in the middle of the map. I don't know if you really want these out here at this stage. And these Marines will drop to take care of this Overseer. Should definitely stim to kill that. There we go. Combat shield's almost finished. 2-2 is on the way, whereas 2-2 has not started for Dark. He's forgotten about it, or maybe just his gas is a bit low with all this other bits of tech, but very rare you see someone prioritize Overlord speed over 2-2 upgrades. Similar army supply, but that means BYUN's army is way better quality, because his army is more dense. Feels like BYUN's got some momentum this game. Should be able to capitalize on this. Dark has to defend the hatchery. That hatchery's going to fall. The Marine tank forcing him to engage here. He's going to have to drop another stim in a moment. Like the patience from BYUN. There we go. Does stim. Gets a few good shots off. If he can take out some of those retreating drones as well, that would be great. Marines may be going a bit far forward. That's okay. You can clear the spores, the gases, all these things on the left side. Good cancel by Dark to get a refund on those units. There was no way they were going to escape. Lurker Den is started. Hive's already finished, but that Lurker Den very slow for Dark. Did Dark actually scout the Hellions coming earlier in this game? He did not, but he saw that it was a Marine instead of a Reaper. So otherwise a Reaper arrives at your side of the map. So he's able to infer there's a faster factory. It was a good understanding of detailed scouting knowledge. Now, BYUN should pull back these tanks. If he saves these tanks for later, he's in a great position. He's leaving a Banshee there. BYUN, this is way over aggressive. You need to go home right now. And indeed he will. He can always pick them up in the medevacs if he gets in trouble. He's got another army coming forward. So second factory as well as 3 more barracks are on the way. The barracks are already up inside this main. Should be seeing tech labs, concussive, And of course, the 3-3 upgrades will be next as well. So BYUN's in control of this game. He's got a big advantage. Dark's trying to retake a 4th and a 5th on the bottom side. But the Banshee's already there in position to start wailing down damage on those drones. 2 of them go down. Marine tank in the open. Gets skirmished on by the Ravagerling, but the Ravager's unable to get the Biles in range of the tanks. Hatchery goes down on the right side as well. Queens do take out the second Banshee. Dark desperately hanging on for dear life in this game 3. We do see a lot of reversals in these weekly cups. Wouldn't be too surprising. 3-3 upgrades starting for BYUN. Oh. Biles do take out a couple Marines there. Not bad. Not much creep control in front of this. Those siege tanks. Oh, this front one's very, very far in front of the rest of the army. With the lurkers there, wow. He's just going to stim on the first lurker. The Marines being in front means the Vipers can't really come forward. You got to be careful, though. A few more lurkers do get in there. Their splash damage is very hard to deal with. The Marines very damaged. Vipers looking for some way of engaging, but look at this. BYUN senses he has the numbers. He takes out the hatchery on the left side at the same time. He's coming in there with another section of units. He's going to take out the lurker den. He's going to just kill everything. Lurker den's a nice little bonus prize. The rest of the army comes over and he picks up and saves some of those units. But this is a Dark on 3 bases. He's just lost his second lurker upgrade. He's got to rebuild his lurker den from scratch, which means he's stuck on just 1 lurker for now. The siege tank getting another kill. Blinding clouds on the siege tanks, and this should be a pretty good clearance. Still 2 siege tanks in the back. Might be worth unsieging those and picking up to get out of there. He's going to try and hold position though, and indeed BYUN does manage to hold position. 86 workers against 71. Massive income advantage, about 1,200 minerals a minute. And with a 5th base up against a 3-base Zerg, Dark is done for in this game. Even Dark cannot make magic happen here, simply because you've got Ghost Tech just finished, you've got better upgrades, more well-rounded tech with tanks, Vikings to deal with the Vipers, and Bio with better upgrades. BYUN has more bases, more upgrades, more tech. There's being ahead, and then there's being so far ahead you cannot fail. And that was BYUN in that game. Really good momentum. I love the aggressive opening. And Dark, unfortunately, just moving his queens out of position on his wall, a silly mistake, costs him that early game. All right, that one was a bit more rough for Dark down here in the bottom right side of the map. He's going 16 hatchery. BYUN is going low ground barracks into gas. Everybody loves the 2 barracks Reaper on this map. I don't like it. I much prefer the single barracks wall off. That being said, I don't mind the old barracks on the high ground as well. I think it's standard for a good reason. It is super duper safe. Spawning pool. Now, why would you put your spawning pool out here? I guess it gives you a bit of vision, and it's really easy for them to snipe with a drop. Personally, I hate my pool being sniped, especially in this matchup. I prefer my pool to be on this side, and all my important tech structures to be up around this area as well. I feel like it's one of the last places they're going to get to if they're pushing through the front into your base. But it's also, if they're dropping in here, any buildings on this side, I always feel are easy pickings for them to pick up and then just get in their medevacs and run away after sniping them. Whereas getting over here with a drop really means you've let your defenses fall apart. So that's always my thought process. Now, it is Marine into factory yet again. BYUN saying, let's go for the quick Hellions. Keep the pressure up. Let's not let Dark get too greedy. And it's not a bad opening. It's a solid opening. You can still do 3 command center with this, but he's going second gas. So it looks like the fast Hellion Banshee seems to be the play that BYUN is favoring. Link speed before 3rd base this time. I think Dark's expecting 2 Rex Reaper. So he's like, yeah, let's get a quick link speed. If you lose your 3rd base, it's not the end of the world. We've seen a few games where it still went very good for the Zerg after that over the last year. I was casting Maru Su where it happened, and I was trying to remember, like, how, what situation is it bad when you lose the 3rd? Which one is it good? And someone in my comments pointed out on YouTube, they were like, well, the last 3 times we've seen it on your channel, it was always Dark, and he always won after losing his 3rd base. And I was like, okay, yeah, that sounds about right. I don't know. And they were like, I don't know how much you could read into this, though, because it's Dark, and he wins from bad positions all the time. And I was like, yeah. I was like, and that made me think, I'm like, well, I see Dark lose his natural to a 2-Rax bunker push. Rebuild it at 5 minutes, take a 3rd base, and just get back in the game. And you're just like, aren't you way behind with how slow your hatchery is? And Dark's like, no, man. I'm Dark. I am never behind in a game of StarCraft. Him and Maru have that kind of awesome air about them. This build from BYUN gets killed by a Ravager Queen push super easily because all your production's here on the natural and you're very reliant on Banshees to keep you safe. But I don't think we've really seen Dark do those pushes very much. It's more Serral when he plays 15-15. So not a bad gamble for BYUN. He's going to send his Hellions south, see if he can get some vision. 6 more Lings on the way, so it's going to be 10 Zerglings already. Very safe play for Dark. Why? Because he saw no Reaper, so he knows there's going to be early Hellions. That's why, guys. And if these Hellions run past the Queens, the Zerglings will wrap them up. Third base doesn't have much creep on it, so he knows it's not the super fast third build. BYUN managed to snipe a creep tumor. Well done. Is he going to try and dive on these? If he does, he'll take a fair bit of damage on the Hellions. Instead, he just goes to the left. Fair enough. Marine is out front to try and intercept. A second Marine will be popping out momentarily. And together, they should be able to clear that Overlord. First Banshee coming south across the map. Hellions diving. Ooh, they roast a few Zerglings, but the Zerglings do scare them away. BYUN wisely backs off. Overlord does get minced, a big chunk of Overlord steak for the Terran to be eating later tonight. Banshee comes in, grabs 1, 2 drones. Nice Spore Trick to save the third one. Kills a drone. Oh, this is good damage. 5 drones already with the first Banshee is awesome. First volley of Spines hit it. Second volley did not quite hit it. He's going to lose that Banshee if he doesn't run. Good pullback timing. And he's still got a bit of energy. Lair has not even started. So just getting free damage on these Queens is awesome. BYUN, of course, was busy macroing there, which is why he just put it on hold position. Pick off those drones mining there without taking too much damage. But for now, he's going to back away. Going to need to decloak that Banshee. Otherwise, there's not much point to hiding it. Another Banshee comes in the front. It's going to try and find something, but runs into a Queen. Banshees do fantastic damage. They shoot fast, and they do 2 times 12 damage. Those backlash rockets are one of the quickest. He's trying to group up his Banshees, I think, so he can one-shot drones, but that's easier said than done. This Banshee in the back is just hiding. If the Queens realize it's there, they can go to there and kill it. Luckily for BYUN, Dark hasn't spotted it. Third command center is about to finish. Behind this, second and third barracks going down. Double engineering bay. And actually... Sorry, he's already up on 3 barracks. He's going to 4th and 5th barracks. After the 4 gases are down. Banshee picking off some creep on the north. Not a bad move. The other Banshee has managed to make its way to safety in the bottom right corner. Just going to have to hide there for a bit. 1-1 melee carapace and Baneling speed is on the way. Dark is famously very fragile when playing Ling Bane because his build orders aren't as tight, and it's easier to die with Ling Bane. It's a more technical style. Roaches is a little bit easier to just survive with. So this next 2 minutes of the game is the real scary point for Dark. If he can hold on and be in an even position, then he's in a great spot. But if he takes big damage, it could be a slippery slope. BYUN's Orbital's on the way. Only 60 workers for Dark. Is Dark playing 4 gas? He's taken 6 gas. He definitely does not have the worker count to support 6 gas. Trying to build 7 more workers as we speak. Ling Run by is a good idea. Fresh mules on that base. There are a few Marines at the rally, but not a massive amount. And BYUN's going to have to run those units. He does react pretty damn quickly. You can always use the SCVs to buffer as well if it feels like the Marines are too outnumbered. That's exactly what we're talking about there. Notice he pulled the SCVs forward, let them fight for a second. Oh, but he's going to morph Banelings just outside the base. Cute moves there for Dark. He's going to go right back in with round 2. BYUN, though, going to deny the 4th base, and that is a huge pick-off, keeping Dark small. He's going to pull back off creep. Good idea. This is where things get nasty, though, if those Banelings can get the Marines. He comes out and focuses the Banes down. Gets rid of all the Banelings. BYUN. Clutch focus fire. Yes, he loses 5 SCVs, but that's well worth it. That could have gone so much worse if those Banelings got on the Marines. Well played by BYUN. 2-1 in the units lost tab. Dark desperately trying to retake a 4th base. Dark's such a tricky player with his engagements. You cannot give away any units here. Still have to play a clean game. Needs to be building SCVs to rebuild his economy. BYUN is kind of not really setting himself up for the long game. This doesn't feel like the sort of game where we're going to see 4th command center and 3, 2nd factory and that sort of stuff, just because he's been so delayed to get to this point. On the other hand, if he doesn't do that stuff soon, he's kind of all in. He's going to go for a depot there, a factory there. These guys harassing on this side. A few Banelings ready for a run by on the other side of the map. There are some Widow Mines down this ramp. He's trying to, of course, bait Dark into that. Ooh, good Hellbat splashies. Good Hellbat splashies. Widow Mine does get a decent hit. Another Widow Mine gets actually a very good hit. It does get picked up and pulled back on the right side. Banshee grabs 4 more drone kills. Banelings rolling into this base. Great spready on those SCVs. The Marines do gun down all those Banelings, and he only loses 3 workers. Great crisis management for BYUN. BYUN's Banshee pulling to the right side. I'd like to see that Banshee go home. There's no reason to be here. He goes in and takes out another drone. Guys, the Banshee at home defending from run-bys is such a useful unit. So, not a fan of how BYUN used that whatsoever. Marine drop in the main base. Widow Mine's going to burrow. And, of course, Dark. Well, let's take a hit. Not a massive one, just a few Zerglings. Big Bio Mine army in the north. 4th Command Center is finally building for BYUN. It's very late, but he's got a large army of Marine Widow Mine. Can the Queens and the Hydras stall out his advance? Feels to me like those Marines are going to need to close with numbers on the Queens. That means the Banelings will come forward, though. Every time you run forward in the big ball, those Banelings! Oh my god, Dark does force a Widow Mine to do massive friendly fire on the Marines, but most of them do survive. BYUN does avert disaster. Infestor's burrowed out on the map right now, or at least one. He's going Vipers as well. 2-2 melee carapace will finish mere seconds after the 2-2 of BYUN. The 4th Command Center is building 3 more barracks are on the way as well. Adrenal Glands would be fantastic. I think that's the one thing that Dark's really missing in this game. He's back up to 75 workers as well. His ability to take good fights after a rough early game is just incredible. You know, I'm watching this from BYUN's point of view, and I'm kind of going, well, I played ZVTs like this morning, right? I got ahead, and then it felt like the Zerg just came back because, I don't know, Banelings hit my units, and I'm like, this is not what I almost ever see happen when Clem's playing. Even when Maru's playing. With BYUN, it's pretty rare as well, to be fair. But Dark has this magical quality of doing it against anybody. Now, he doesn't have a Hydra movement speed upgrade. That's a big missing upgrade for him. He's going Adrenal Glands, +1 range. 3-3 is starting for Terran. And BYUN's building 3 more reactors. BYUN's going all in on Mass Marine. It's a crazy style. It's a crazy style. No Marauders, no Ghosts in this game. BYUN is basically saying, I will have so many Marines that I can just multi-drop your bases and have so much firepower that if you take even one bad fight, it can spiral out of control so quickly. I am going to take you out with just a billion fragile, high-damage Marine units. It's always very dicey playing this style. It's super hit or miss. So BYUN's either going to make an amazing kind of mini comeback here, I guess I could call it, because he was ahead, but now he's a little behind. Dark having a bit more bank and a little bit more map control. Dark's economy is not amazing. His 5th base is not even up yet. Dark's definitely been taking good fights the last few minutes. And those medevacs need to pick those Marines up. I guess he doesn't have enough space inside for everybody, so he decides to fight a little bit. Does end up saving only 8 of those Marines. Looks like a big fight in the middle. A ton of medevacs, or at least 1 or 2 medevacs went down. Investor on the left goes down. I don't know if there was a fungal there or what happened. The units lost tab is very close, though. 55 Marines have gone down for 125 Zerglings. We don't know how many Banelings have died. 18 Banelings have been shot down by Terran. But of course, a lot more Banelings would have blown themselves up when they connected as well. Oh, Parasitic Bomb. It's a good move. And you want to just sit in the dead space, so he has to use another spell at least. Here we go. He's going to dive the south. Hydraling Bane is here. The Marines are heavily damaged. He's only got 4 medevacs. This is a huge problem for BYUN. His army is way too damaged. Massive Widow Mine hit on the north. Gets 16 Zerglings. The other one gets 8. Good first shots. Dark's going to counterattack. Great choice for Dark. You can see BYUN's entire army F2ing home. Contaminate on the second factory. Marines spreading backwards, so at least there's no good targets for those Banelings. He does burrow. BYUN. Oh no! Great burrowed Bane. There's another one in there as well. That one does get scanned and taken down. He's going to try and chase Dark home. Dark's going to counter push the south, though. Down in the south. Is he watching? There's only 2 medevacs. The medevacs are out of energy, which means they kind of fly away from the Marines. This is the one rare moment where your medevacs are super unreliable in terms of how they micro, or not unreliable, but they catch you off guard, and that is when you do not have any energy on them. You'll A-move and they'll just drive into the enemy army. Marine Widow Mine coming on in right now. The Banelings rolling forward, not finding the hits they'd like. Overseer does massive friendly fire to the Terran, but the lack of Hydra movement speed is really hurting. Dark has finally realized that's missing. That being said, only 7 medevacs. The Marines are heavily damaged. BYUN's playing a momentum style. He wants to push, but his Marines are so heavily damaged. He's so deep on creep. He stims an army that is already dangerously low. Blinding Cloud, so massive. My God! Blinding Cloud, Baneling, and the Overseer drags the Widowmine into the Marines. Despite that, BYUN is building 15 Marines at a time with 3-3, and he says, I will not be stopped. He's loading his Gauss rifle, and he is ready to jam these Marines into the Zerg defenses. It is, no one's coming home until we have victory, boys. There is no rest for the wicked. We will fix bayonets and charge the Zerg. And you know, when you're a human soldier, I don't care if you've got power armor or not. If you're putting a bayonet on the end of your gun and you're charging towards a Zerg unit that is a Baneling, literally a roly-poly ball of acid, and you're stabbing that with your bayonet, you are a Chad gamer. And honestly, BYUN, he passes the Chad Gamar, the Hong Jabar, the Chad Gamar, the test of whether you're a Chad gamer or not, and he's actually going to overwhelm. What an incredible push. 15 Marines at a time, nothing but Marines and mines. Lurkers shut this down hardcore, but Dark thought he could do it with Hydra Bane, and because of that, actually, wait, it's turning. Dark with an epic hold. BYUN's overcommitting. BYUN, massive overcommitment. That last 20 seconds were really bad for him, maybe 10 seconds. He was looking really good, and then he ran out of hit points, and there was a big wall of Hydras with 1-3 that actually started to gun down his Marines. Infestors and Lurkers are making those units smash Marine Widowmine, but I think for BYUN, the best chance is he's got to go drop now. I don't think he can keep pushing into mass Hydra. He's trying to keep forcing the fights. The Widowmines are going to do a lot of friendly fire here. Great cleanup by Dark. BYUN has to gather his forces for a moment. He needs to get a 5th base up, but look at Burrowed Zergling blocking it. Now, don't get me wrong, Dark has very little money, but if there's a drop hits the north, a drop hits the south, I do think that BYUN can still absolutely chip away at this. And look at that. BYUN's top base gets blocked. Very frustrating for him. He's going to have to send something up there to defend. It's this drop for now. Scans takes out that, and we should see a lot of mules dropping on this base as well. A couple Zerglings running in. It's pure orbitals. He has no defensive anchors. BYUN is all in on a low-tier composition. Now, don't get me wrong. Dark has a tiny army. Dark's economy is not that amazing, but Dark's units are hardcore. The fact that Dark is brave enough to counterattack shows that he understands how weak BYUN's army is. Oh, no, BYUN not watching. BYUN not watching his Marines. Oh my god. They walk over those Lurkers and take a lot of damage. This base getting ransacked in the top. Those Zerglings will get defended by those Marines, but the third base getting overrun. This game is a hot mess now. That Lurker goes down. That Infestor goes down. Oh man, I don't know who comes out on top of this. This is a dangerous move for Dark. I would have liked him to only send Zergling run-bys into these very undefended bases. Instead, he ends up losing a base, but he does hide the workers for now. BYUN, too busy defending at home, doesn't realize, and oh no, BYUN's losing so many workers as I was talking about. We just send Zerglings in, it does so much. There's a Lurker behind these Marines as well. BYUN shoving it on the front. He says the best defense is a good offense, and I am about as offensive as they come, man. He is charging into battle, but unfortunately, he's out of energy. His medevacs and Marines are going down. Dark holding on like a champ, even burrowing some units here, and it looks like he's weathered, I would say, the scariest part of this game. Few more medevacs going down. There's only 3 medevacs left on this map. And look at that. The drones are going to unburrow and run to that northern base. Mining, similar for both sides. Slight advantage for him. We've got SCVs trying to kill Hydras right now. He's going to just burrow them again. Force the scan out. Taste my drill. Say those SCVs as they drive their drills into the ground and do take those Hydras down. Undefended bases here for BYUN. He's as all in as they come, mate. He's got to win with this army. He is still up 30 army supply, but he's going to lose all of his mining. And even though this is most of Dark's mining, Dark still has mining there. He still has mining here. So losing this base is rough. You know what? BYUN keeps the base up. Oh, BYUN keeps the base up. He's got Marines there as well. Oh, no, BYUN. Those guys. Oh my god, these Zerglings doing so well. This game's still so close. Remember that BYUN has mules. So he can drop mules as well. This game is so close. Luckily, BYUN doesn't need gas because he's got a giant gas bank. That actually really helps him the longer this goes. There's 3 Lurkers and 2 Infestors out. Those units do counter Marines pretty hard, but there's so few of them. SCVs are being rebuilt for BYUN, which is a wild decision. I did not expect it. He's having to rebuild depots right now. Apparently, he's supply blocked. And he's going to swap into Tech Labs. He wants some Marauders to help tank against the Banelings and to do bonus damage versus those Lurkers. It's a wise choice. Could go Ghosts as well, but we don't see a Ghost Academy just yet. Widowmine's continuing to get a few hits here or there. Small numbers of Zerglings are trying to sneak into the bases. BYUN's doing a great job of defending that, though, with a mixture of Widowmine spotters and Marines split on both sides of the map. I love that. He thought there might be an Infestor. He just had a Spidey sense, so he scans, spreads his Marines out a bit. He needs more medevacs, though. He's only got 2. All of those 15 medevac losses this game have really cost him. Now, Dark has the bigger worker count, so as he takes a base and then takes maybe this base in front of it, and he makes more Lurkers and Vipers and Infestors, his army does scale a bit better than BYUN. So BYUN has to make a decision. If he wants to play a longer game and not go win, he probably needs to, I would say, start building workers and keep building them. Take another command center and really just kind of work his way up the tech tree and just try to reset into a more normal game. Now, that's a very brave decision because you do not have that many workers or command centers. You've got 3 orbitals, no planetaries. The map is spread out like crazy. Trying to go back to a normal game from here is so hard. But for Dark, that's like the game-winning decision, and he's doing that. He's like, I got Lurkers, I got Ling Bane, I got these units. BYUN's trying to make 44 SCV Ghosts and Marauders to round out his army so that he can still try to win on this lower tech. Dark really needs to deal with these Overseers. Oh! Decent Widowmine hit, not the craziest. Oh, Infestor. Oh, he finds it! Nice! Good move. Good move. BYUN doing a good job. I mean, I would say it's time to build a Raven, but he's only got 1 starport and he's low on medevacs. He literally can't build a Raven. He's going to have to eventually, but he's not there yet. Oh, BYUN, get out. Does lose a couple units to those Lurkers. He's got to be careful. The only way you want to fight with Bioverse Lurkers is if you can surround them, but I like that Dark's just slowly establishing bases. He's adding his +3 range, +3 melee. Look at that. Burrowed Zergling spotters. Little perverts just kind of got their walkie-talkies there, sending home reports about where the Terran, where these dirty humies are at. These stupid gits. They're using guns where they could just bite and spit acid on their face. Lurkers. Oh, Hydroling Bane hanging out. Cloak is coming in for those ghosts. Man, what a weird game this is now. I mean, Dark's still not mining that many bases, but once this base is up, his income's going to skyrocket. Finishes now. He's got 28 workers mining from just that one base. Oh, snipe. Snipes a Lurker. Nice. Good positioning by BYUN. I like that Dark's saying, okay, screw this. I'm going to send a Lurker harassment across. Unfortunately for him, the Widowmine does do some good damage. And those SCVs should probably pull back. Here we go. Dark's going to die of Crazy Man Dark. Lurker does get sniped. A few Lings go down. Top base is the most vulnerable, but it does have a good contingent of Marines. So just a pack of Zerglings won't take it out. You need to send Lurkers there. Ooh. Oh, his front line does get hit by those Lurker spines rather badly. Looks like a Baneling Cocoon got clicked on. He meant to click on the Lurker. Accidentally sniped a Baneling. Units lost tab is right now 9,000 resources lost in favor of BYUN. Oh, he's got Marines there ready to deal with this big Zergling run by, but it's the Lurkers behind it that are the issue. Lurkers coming in. He cannot defend that. Yeah, he's got to get away from the Lurkers. The Lings try to kind of hold him in place. The SCVs are trying to get out of there. Good pullback by BYUN, but a fantastic assault by Dark. Taking out 11 workers, denying the Ghost Academy and one of the few mining bases that BYUN has. Zergling's continuing to ransack those SCV lines, chasing them all the way back. BYUN's feeling kind of all in right now. He's got a big army supply, but he's got to make it worth it. He's still super heavy on Marines, and Baneling's taking out a bunch of those Marines and Ghosts. He does force the Lurkers out of position. He moves left. Oh, sniping! Sniping on those Lurkers is pretty big. He gets 3 or 4 of the Lurkers. You just got to be careful about making sure he heals up as well, you know. Does EMP the Infestor once? It's still got a Fungal. There we go. Another snipe and EMP go down and take it out. Lurker counterattack up in the rally point. He's got to be careful about this, does BYUN. He's going to bring his whole army back, which is a really good idea. He's going to flank from the right side, and he's going to say, no retreat for you, mate. Snipes one of the Lurkers. Oh, got to be careful those Lurker spines. Does take a few losses. Still a Lurker there, and a few Lurkers up here. Dark says, Lurkers here, Lurkers there. Lurkers are absolutely everywhere. What are you going to do about it, D-Bag? Pulls 2 Lurkers back over there as well. Dark doesn't have the money to support this for too long, though. I mean, well, compared to BYUN, yes, he does. Because BYUN is a bit of a broke boy right now. He is a Pokemon simp, as they say. He's got too much of his money got spent on tier 3 subs this month. Doesn't have enough command centers. Doesn't have enough economy built up at home. Nice EMPs and snipes there going down on some of those Infestors. Lurker's getting taken down. Watch out. Oh, it's a good fight for BYUN. It's a good fight for BYUN. Dark is just bleeding out supply here, man. He's bleeding out supply. Good Fungal. Fungal Lurker could be game-changing. The drones are being forced off the line. Baneling flank gets dealt with by the Marines that were left behind on the high ground. Those Marines, I don't know if that was on purpose or not, but they actually shut down the Baneling flank. Banelings, drones, Hydras crashing into this Terran army, but there is too much Terran standing. And that is an overwhelming attack. A Lurker is getting in and killing his SCVs. The last bit of BYUN's mining is going down, but what a barn burner of a game 4. It's gone back and forth. It's been an absolute seesaw. It's been a very fun ride to be on with you guys, but I think we're getting to game 5. I was pretty damn sure Dark was going to win this game at multiple points. BYUN, though, has made it messy, and his wrists are probably on fire right now with how painful this game would be to play. That's so frantic. There's so much going on. Casual 700 APM right now, an average 450, an insane amount of APM for BYUN. And he's managed to do it, though. He's cracked through. Just great micro. Oh, Widowmine up there as well, picking off a drone here or there. Finally, we'll get cleaned up. Dark's like, well, you don't have any mining, so surely I can technically win, right? The problem is there's still 4 orbitals. So he's got enough scads to deal with these lurkers slowly, little by little. And there's only 12 worker economy for Dark. Even though it's only 5 SCVs for BYUN, BYUN's like, as long as my units heal up from these medevacs over time, they're going to be way too efficient. Dark knows it, and Dark has to tap out. We're going to go game 5. All right, guys. Going into game 5. What a banger series this has been. BYUN desperately trying to stop that Overlord getting away. Oh, he gets it. Just before it gets to the safety of the high ground, he leaves some Overlord stakes spread across the top of that. Ready for dinner later. It is going to be a barracks into factory and command center on the low ground into double gas again. So BYUN liking this opening, kind of taking the momentum away from Dark. Dark's gone for a quick ling speed into third hatchery. But obviously he's going to need to be building himself another Overlord in a moment, as that Overlord only gets him here to 36 supply. I would have loved to see Dark go Creep Tumor first. He's not going to, though. Just going to go double inject. He's been loving the double inject lately. It's an older style, but it does check out. Starport about halfway there. Command center building SCVs as much as they can. Sorry, guys. Just had to freeze the screen there for a second. My bad. Fixed a little tech issue that we had going on. All right, Hellions running forward. It always feels like I'm fast-forwarding a replay. I am indeed casting these games live. It's those boosty zones around these pillars, these green areas. Big movement speed boost. It's, what is it, plus 50%? Or is it double? I think it's plus 50%. It's pretty huge. Whee! Whee! You gotta be careful. Ling Bane's very scary in those areas. They can close on you quite easily. Aliens driving past. They see Speedlings finished and they say, nope, let's get out of here. I think it's good, though, that BYUN, this is like an old school kind of TvZ, where BYUN is just keeping pressure up from the start, not giving him the room to freely expand and drone up as hard. And he's just kind of making Dark jump through more hurdles to get to the mid-game. Zergling's going to go for a bit of a scout. If it can see that second barracks building, that would be great. And he sees it. So he knows it's a bio transition. Oh, BYUN's going to swap the factory back, build tanks and medevacs. There's 2-base push. Yeah, 2-base push. Okay, third barracks builds on that reactor. The starport will go build its own reactor elsewhere. Very cool play. So 4 Hellions, 2 Banshees into a 2-base push. It's going to be all momentum. And of course, down here is where those tanks are going to push. They're going to start pushing into this third. That's going to be the angle they probably look to work on later on in this game. Cloak is finished. Lair is nowhere near done yet, but he doesn't decide to go in the middle like he has in his previous games. Just going to back off for now. Oh, still no Cloak. Got to be careful. Guess he realizes Cloak is done now. That spawns a bit far to the right, so those drones are actually kind of exposed on that base. Yeah, you can see he's just barely in range, really. I guess that, it's kind of hard to tell with the perspective of the high ground, low ground, but I guess he was just in vision. And second Banshee should be out now, but looks like he only built 1 Banshee with Cloak this game, maybe messing up his production a little bit. And just decided, well, it's not worth slowing down the rest of my build. Single Banshee causing a slight disruption, but not much more than that. Melee is on the way. Carapace is the more important upgrade, but no doubt Dark just pressed both buttons at once, didn't realize he didn't have enough gas. Extra gases are going down as well. So it's going to be a 5 gas Ling Bane play. If Dark keeps droning, he's going to be in trouble, though. He's already at 68 against just 46 SCVs for the Terran. Beyond clearing the creep in the middle, maybe he wants to push this angle with the tanks over here. Don't think this angle's as good. Creep being respread, Marine tank moving out, Zergling seeing it. Dark knows what he's up against, and he knows he's in for a big spot of bother. He did end up cancelling melee, starting Carapace, and then restarting melee. But 2 tanks, 20 Marines, a Banshee, and some Medivacs now boosting out across this map. Yeah, looks like he's going to look to deny the 4th with his first push. I always feel like I want to deny their 3rd as well, but I think for BYUN, when he plays this style, it's all about finding efficient engagements using his massive army supply advantage. Sorry guys, we'll swap the tabs around. So BYUN is the top, Dark is the bottoms to correspond with their spawn locations. Oh, Marines. Good pullback, but oh my god, the tanks are a little far away. It's okay. It does get most of the Marines out of there. He only lost 2 Marines there. 2 or 3 maybe. Might have lost 1 to tank splash damage. More Marines and tanks are building 3rd command center. It does start on the high ground. It's not a 5 racks. So his command center, whilst late, is not crazy late. And Dark, it's going to be on him to find good engagements at some point in this game. Dark has creep vision there, but he doesn't realize that these tanks are going to move down here. Oh, this is a lovely tank positioning. Oh, he's going to put them there to create, I guess, a bit more of a solid wall if the Ling Bane tries to move past them. And then with the Marines behind, yeah, you can actually do really nicely. Personally, I prefer the Hellions on the outside so they can micro to the left and then put the Marines down here in the back. Yeah, there we go. That's what I'm talking about. So he's going to use the Hellions and the tanks to scan, clear that creep. Maybe poke forward, just trying to bait the Ling Bane into some good tank shots. Double drop in the south hasn't achieved too much just yet, but he's forcing Dark to expand in this awkward pattern. And you can see how this playstyle unfolds for BYUN, where it's all about making the Zerg do awkward things they don't necessarily want to. He's going to swap into Reacted Factory behind it, as well as, of course, thinking about not only the Widow Mines, but he's going to go 2nd Engineering Bay, Armory, keep building workers. So BYUN's setting himself up for the long game. What he's doing through this is he's removing creep control, he's removing map position from the Zerg, and he'll pick up here. So he trades 2 or 3 Marines there, but of course these are very good trades. Actually, there's only 2 more Marines that died, or even 1. And he killed a lot of Zerglings. Look at the resource loss, 7-to-1 efficiency. And you always look at this and you go, man, the Zerg has extra base mining for so long. Like, how is this a good build? And then you realize anytime BYUN plays this, he just finds the most efficient fights over and over again. It's so awesome to watch. Alien 0+ tanks and Marines. Completely safe at home. He's got a forward wedge there. The double drop here. Oh! Oh my god, Dark's doing the Ice. For those who don't know, Ice, a Dota player. A very famous one who back in the early days of SC2 was a pro for like a year before he got into Dota 2. And yeah, he used to burrow the banelings in the spot. He would build a spore here, and then burrow banelings in the middle because he knows they would always drop in the middle of where there's no anti-air. It was so silly, but it was actually something where I was like, I can't believe you thought about this. This is ridiculous. Oh. Good pullback. 2-2 melee Carapace. Vipers have started. Ultra Caverns on the way as well. 2-2 on the way for Terran now, and a 4th command center. I don't know if BYUN's going to go full late game. It seems like the game's kind of locked in a mid-game holding pattern, but they're both kind of limping their way towards Hive Tech, and you know, I'm like, I guess we see 3 more barracks soon. He's actually got 3 tech labs, 2 reactors, so a lot of Marauders in the mix. It's very interesting, a peculiar style. I'd like to see concussive shells for BYUN. I'd also like to see 3 more barracks because he's got such limited Marine production right now that his army production is a bit derpy. There we go. 3 more barracks do go down. Marines coming in on the north. There's a drop in the main at the same time. He did not unload on the banelings though. Our banelings just to the south of that. Oh, interesting. So he's pulling... Oh, Abduct's coming in. Oh, both of them just barely in range. And nice. Double Abduct. Those tanks go down. And there goes BYUN's forward position, which means, of course, Dark can now reestablish that side. Try to get creep over there. The creep up the middle is incredible. BYUN does take down the Overlord there. Still got a double drop in the south, a double drop in the north, and a very good army at home. Widow Mines have been building. Needs to keep building them, though, as the reactor took a long time to work, and he's not going to have a lot of Widow Mines unless he focuses on that production. Nice defuse on the right side. Dark's 5th base is now coming up. BYUN's just looking to establish a 4th and chill. He's not really stressed over keeping Dark that small anymore. Oh, Parasitic Bomb's nice. That medevac will not die just yet, but the Vipers will be back for more in no time. It's only a matter of time until it falls. Massling Bane run by ready on that 3rd. Tank plus depot wall will slow it down a little bit. It's not a full wall. Double drop gets pushed back by Queens. Single drop in the south is actually just being brought back to the army by the looks of it. He actually sends it back down to the south. I feel like saving those Marines is probably the better call, and looks like BYUN does agree with me. Nidus Worm's on the way right now. Dark doesn't have any Ultras out. His Kindness Plating's almost done. His 3-3's on the way. 3-3 only just started for BYUN. Ooh, if BYUN fights right now, it's even. But in about a minute, it's going to be bad for him. A lot of Marauders. Does have concussive shells. Lots of Marines behind. There's so much Zerg. Oh my god. Bad fight for BYUN. Great fight for Dark. Dark just monster modes that army. Bit too deep on creep there. Without enough splash damage. So few Widow Mines. No siege tanks. Looks like he lost his 2 drops up here at the same time to those Queens. And that's a disaster. BYUN's supply plummets. And even though the worker count for Dark kind of sucks, look at all that cost efficiency from the early game. It's completely gone. Even in the units lost tab, and when the Zerg's been up a mining base for the entire game, well, that's pretty damn bad for you as the Terran player. BYUN now has to survive for the next few minutes of this game, and since Dark's economy is not that great, there is the dream. If he could take one really good defensive fight, maybe. Problem, a lot of his army's on the other side of the map, which means it can't help at home. Nidus Worm in the main base, massive attack over here on the right. Dark is looking for a killing blow. Blinding Cloud on top of the siege tank. The bio is trading reasonably well, but the planetary gets bopped. The Queens are somehow holding the line on their own against the Mass Marine Marauder on the left. Nidus Worm up in the main. But look at that. Ultras, Lings, Banes. BYUN does not have the numbers. He cannot hang on. Finally, the Queen's falling on the left side of the map. The medevacs are out of energy, funnily enough. BYUN trying to do damage, but of course behind it, Ultras are ripping him to shreds. Getting in on top of the production, and Dark will end up finishing off the series 3-2. Super patient. He didn't get baited into fighting. You know, BYUN had that area over on that side of the map for so long. But what did Dark do? He just calmly gave up ground, said, you can sit there all you want. If you come any deeper, I'll deal with it. But until you do that, I don't care. I'm just going to keep defending with Queens, not engaging into the bad position. Defend the 4th on the south, make my hive tech and play it out. And he did that so bloody well. The 2 Vipers starting to shut down the drops, dealing with the siege tanks. It was so patient and methodical. Hats off to BYUN for making it as close of a series as he did, and what an amazing game 4 especially. But at the end of the day, it looks like Dark comes out on top and he's our champion for today with a 3-2 victory. GG, well played.